Tonight I'm making a stir fry and I wanted to film my process. First things first, we gotta get ready the tofu. The thing with tofu is it's good to prepare it beforehand by either marinating it, or some people freeze it and then thaw it out. I haven't done any of that, but we're just gonna make do. But it's gonna be good, all right? I gotta drain it. So I like to try cutting my tofu into slightly different shapes every time. Sometimes I'll do a cube, sometimes I'll do a triangle, and I think I'll do the triangle. So it looks like that. The thing about tofu that pisses me off is that it'll say it's extra firm and it'll be soft enough to break apart like this. I'm also gonna pat these dry just so it can hopefully absorb more of the sauce I'm gonna put on it, because this tofu is really soft and wet and it should be neither of those things. Yeah, I should have pressed it beforehand or done something, but I just didn't feel like it. Ugh. This tofu is still so wet. This is too much effort. And listen, I'm not trying to go all out with this. I'm trying to do a relatively easy stir fry tonight, but this is proving to be difficult. That's gotta be good enough. I am done with this tofu. The other thing that I'm gonna do is make a sauce in this bowl. All right, so for the sauce, we're starting with a decent amount of soy sauce. That was like at least a quarter cup, I think. We're also gonna put in some sesame oil. That was kind of a lot. Next, I'm putting in some rice vinegar. Putting in like a teaspoon of sugar, some onion powder. Now, this ingredient might be weird, but I'm putting in some nutritional yeast because I like it in pretty much any sauce. And it's a good source of vitamin B12, so why not? Also gonna put in a little bit of pepper and extra salt, even though there's some in the soy sauce. I just put some water in this and I'm gonna thicken it with some cornstarch. Oops, wait, I don't know how much to put in. Maybe that's good. Now I just have to mix it up real good. The key to making a good sauce, I've realized, is you gotta have a good range of flavors. Like, you gotta have something salty, something a bit sour, and you gotta balance it out with like a sweetener. I don't know how I feel about this sauce, but it's fine. I also have these ramen noodles that I'm gonna make alongside the tofu and veggies. I only need to boil these for like 4 minutes, so I'm gonna wait on that. I'm gonna start heating up some oil. I'm using these frozen veggies that are pre-cut because that makes things way easier for me. So I'm gonna put these in. Now I'm putting in most of the tofu, but I don't think I'm gonna use all of it. The thing I've realized with making stir fry is it's really good to not overcrowd the pan, and that just makes it, one, harder to stir, and two, everything just doesn't really get cooked as it should. Even though I'd like to cook a lot at once so I can make lunches for the whole week. It's better to make this amount rather than filling it the whole way. So it's obviously a matter of letting it sit for a while, but also not letting it sit for too long to the point where it burns. So I'm kind of just going back and forth, letting it sit for a couple minutes, flipping it around, and then letting it sit again. I'm gonna start boiling this water so then I can put the noodles in this. And I don't need to put any seasonings on this right now because obviously I'm gonna put the sauce on it. The water isn't quite boiling yet, but I'm just gonna put the noodles in anyway because I don't give a fuck. Turning it down a bit because it's getting a bit hot. Honestly, it's looking done because everything is browned nicely, so I'm gonna turn that down. And the noodles are almost done at this point. Give them a stir. Gotta drain the noodles now. I'm gonna put these right in with the stir fry. And then I'm gonna put this sauce on it and turn the heat up. Just gotta stir the noodles in a bit so that everything mixes evenly. And it should thicken once it's heated a bit. Yeah, it's absorbing the sauce really fast. It doesn't really need to cook that much longer from here. Gotta plate my dish now. Okay, that's a good amount of noodles. Got some tofu, got some veggies. Here's a close-up of my dish. I'm gonna try it now. It doesn't smell like anything. It has a very mild smell, and I don't really know why. Maybe I put too much cornstarch because the sauce is actually like really thick. It's almost gelatinous at this point, which is kind of weird. Okay, it's all right. It's kind of mid. I think it could use more salt. Let me try the noodles. The noodles are all right, but I think it's made to be a little weird because the sauce is so thick that they're just like stuck together so much. Although I'm wondering if it could use something else as well. I was gonna use garlic powder, but we're out of that, so I was only able to use onion powder. Now I'm gonna try some of the veggies. The veggies are fine. I think obviously it's not ideal that they were frozen, but at least it made it easier. I didn't have to do a bunch of chopping of vegetables. I think it's just the sauce. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. I think I just added too much cornstarch because it is a strange texture, and I guess I just could have put in more salt, which is why it's not as flavorful as it could be. So I guess I would give this like 7 out of 10. As I'm eating more of it, I don't think it's the lack of salt that's the problem, actually. Maybe I should have added more sugar. Actually, I could be wrong about that. In terms of the healthiness of this meal, I feel like it's pretty good. You know, obviously the veggies, good for you. Tofu is a good source of plant-based protein. The noodles, not as good for you. I think there's a decent amount of fat and salt in the noodles. And then obviously in the sauce, there was also sugar and salt added. But overall, I think it's pretty healthy. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed with this. 7 out of 10 is still kind of solid, but like, I know I could do better. You win some, you lose some. All right. Peace out.